bunch of gamers, one channel, and tons of games. This must be Games and...
Nothing's gonna stop me now.
Hey everyone, it's Tim aka Jumble Junkie, and welcome to Jumble Junkies, podcast number 4. Can you believe it, Alex? We made number 4.
I didn't even think we were going to last after the first one, but yeah, this is miraculous.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. Well, all I have to say is we have a lot of stuff to cover today in Jumble Junkies, podcast number 4. I didn't think I was going to have enough content, but holy shit, I got too much content. So, So how was your week so far?
Week's been pretty good. I bought a couple of games I'm going to talk about one of them today. Did groceries, got Devil Summoner, and I am heading to E3 in 2 weeks.
Holy shit, I wish I could go to E3, but guess what? Here in Maine, we have nothing. Yay!
You can always fly down here and shack up with, like my Raiho plushie over here and more than,
Yeah, that's really fucking nerdy, and no, I'm not rich or anything, but that's okay. But yeah, I also got some games and some gaming peripherals. Did I say that right? Peripherals. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. So starting off, we're gonna do our first news story, and it's pretty crazy, and it's the first round of BlizzCon 2009 tickets sold out in under 30 minutes. That is pretty insane. You know, I really don't need to read the rest, but do you believe that Blizzard is that fucking popular?
Yeah, I can believe it. I mean, there's 11 million people like freaking playing World of Warcraft, so like the friggin' thing like selling out in like 30 minutes is no surprise to me. I mean, can you imagine like how much from a nerdy standpoint, like how much the freaking servers needed to be able to support 11 million people trying to like get on the same goddamn website and buying the tickets? Jesus Christ. I mean, it probably had like the most server load out of every single server on WoW.
I bet it's like a server queue, like in WoW back in the day when too many people played WoW. Like, oh, you got a 40-minute queue on your server.
It gives you like the first thing like you see on the website. It gives you a number. It's like you are number 5,400,000. It's like no way.
Then somehow you're like, oh shit, it crashed. I gotta restart again. And then back them in the queue. I think BlizzCon would be really fun to go to just to watch the Night Elf cosplay chicks.
Ooh.
Get a big raging nerd boner. No. That's all. Every time I think of BlizzCon, that's all I think of, people just dressed up like stupid elves and stuff. But do you think they're going to announce... I know we talked about it last week. Do you think they're going to announce possibly what they're doing with their new MMO?
It's possible. I mean, that's maybe like what's going to happen is that they're going to show it off like on the floor, but no media outlets can actually cover it because of embargo. And then they'll announce it maybe like, shortly and stuff. Maybe after that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're primarily just going to whore out StarCraft 2 and then Diablo 3, so...
Yeah.
I think that's your primary focus here in BlizzCon. And don't we have a Games and Me member going to BlizzCon?
Yes, we got Ted, possibly Mark, and Sydney probably going. Yeah, actually, yeah, they're definitely going. Because apparently cool. Ted, has spammed that refresh button so many times that he actually got a queue.
So I take it they'll be covering that, and we'll see some videos on gamesandme. For sure.
We can only hope.
Yeah. Well, we hope so, because BlizzCon's good stuff.
Yeah, if Mark is going, then yes, we most certainly will. But, because Rated M is the events show, but Angry Gaming, not necessarily a current events type show. Let's put it that way. Ted's
a good character. He should whip out a camera and start interviewing people and go right to town. Do it.
He'll probably cosplay as a Draenei or something like that. Who knows?
Draenei, you should... Draenei. worst race ever, I'm sorry. Anyways, we'll move to our next news story here. And we talked about this a little bit on last week's Tweet game, but it's PS3 Best by Older Brother. So pretty much what that means is the PlayStation 3 was totally outsold by PlayStation 2.
Is
And
this
then-
really a surprise, though? I mean, Sony's been treating the PS3 as its redheaded stepchild because, granted, they stripped, like, the only important feature of the PS3 that was worth buying for, and that was, like, to me at least, which was the backwards compatibility for the PS2. So, if you buy, like, a PS3 now, it's like, oh, cool, you can play PS1 games, but guess what? If you want to play a PS2 game, you gotta buy a PS2, and guess what? That's what everyone did.
Yeah, it's almost like the PS2 is Sony's life support. Like, it's dying really bad on cancer, and like the PS2 is keeping it afloat, kind of.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, like, obviously, like, GamesandMe is actually a valid media and press website. I get emails all the time about, like, from, people trying to defend themselves and stuff, like, if they sucked on the NPDs or they really rocked the NPDs. So Nintendo's always bragging. Microsoft is always saying that we're different from Nintendo, but they're better than Sony. And Sony's like, well, if you add the PSP, the PS2, and the PS3 sales, we beat everything. I'm like, that doesn't work that way,
I just find it so hilarious. I mean, this system is super old and it's still selling like crazy. Like, it's insane. I was kind of late on the game with my PS2, and I thought I got a good deal. I think when it was like $200 when it dropped that time, I was like, "Ooh, this is a crazy deal. I'm gonna pick it up." So, yeah, it's really insane to see that it's still kicking. PlayStation 3 sales are just probably because of its hefty price tag, but oh well.
Although we have to say, like, before, like, we continue, the PS2 has a great lineup. They're still coming out with great games right now. Atlas just released Devil Summoner 2, which is, if you're, like, a big Star Ocean fan, you'll totally cream your pants, like, if you play this game, because to me it's better than the fourth game. So, all right.
Yeah, I think we've hit all the points on that. Really not a lot we can say about it since we've kind of already touched on it on a previous show. Whoopsies. All right, we'll move on to something that's actually pretty cool. And I'm actually a really big fan of King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters, the movie. Have you seen that movie before, Alex?
No, I actually haven't. I've only seen parts of it, and from what I've seen, it's actually a very interesting movie, and it features like an asshole with like a mullet. Basically, that's all I remember.
Yeah, they pretty much, people who have never seen King of Kong, it's pretty much like a movie between these two guys. They're trying to become the best at the arcade Donkey Kong, and it's really funny and sad at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of like becoming. It's kind of like a race of becoming like the tallest midget almost, right?
Pretty much. It's really sad. Like, you have this really mean guy with the mullet, like you say. He's like a millionaire, but you have this guy named Steve Wiebe who's like this I don't know, he's kind of like a family man, and he just wants to be good at something. So he's like really good at drums, and he's really good about all these different things, and he just wants to be the best at Donkey Kong. And just the long story short, he pretty much like cries over it. So pretty much what Steve Wiebe's going to be doing is he's actually going to be competing at E3 for this $10,000 in quarters.
$10,000 in quarters? That seems ridiculous.
It's pretty goofy, and they say that it's close to like 500 pounds. And the joke was, what's going to be the first thing he's going to buy with his $10,000? Probably a wheelbarrow.
Oh God, yeah. I'm depending on like when this is gonna be, I'm probably gonna be able to see it. So I don't know. Maybe should we even consider him a celebrity? It's a freaking loser. Basically, they just plays like the same damn game. Like what is it now? 30 years? 20 years? Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
but like Steve Wiebe is almost like a huge name in gaming. Like, I don't know, just because he's just got a cool last name, Wiebe. Like, everyone knows it. I actually, this summer, I really want to take a little trip to what's called a Fun Spot, which is like one of like the most famous retro arcades. It's actually about an hour and a half away from my house. And in that movie King of Kong, that's where they had the big competition at the end. Was right there.
I see.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that seems pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, lots of respect to Wiebe. Let's see if he pulls this off.
But I think that movie really did him a lot of justice. It made him look like the good guy, and made the other guy look like a total asshole.
Yeah, didn't the other guy like freaking make like some sort of barbecue sauce or something like that? I don't know.
Well, yeah. I think he's like a sauce maker or some sort of, I don't know. I know he's in the grocery market or something, but
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But he's pretty successful, and I guess that movie really makes him out like an asshole. I guess he's really not like that, but
I'm pretty
I don't
sure
know.
he's not. I mean, it's like reality shows and stuff. So.
And the funny thing about that movie too, like they had it on G4 a while ago, and I rewatched it, and they did some extra interviews and stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, I still have never seen it," which is like total horseshit. Like he's seen it.
Yeah. It's a movie you show up in. You're not gonna watch it. That's BS.
I know, it's so goofy, but so yeah, if you guys are at E3 and you want to check out Steve Wiebe playing his freaking Donkey Kong arcade machine, sitting there like a zombie, sitting there for hours until he gets that kill screen and gets that over 1 million score, then check him out. I have no idea where he's going to be, but I'm sure if you go to E3, I'm sure he'll hit up everything, because that's what nerds do, hit up everything.